Today we're going to be going over our electric tongue jacks that are in our 7.3 leveling systems, our 5.3 and our 5.1 stabilizing systems. We're going to go over how to replace the motor and or coupler depending on what you're in need of. The first thing you're going to want to do is remove the touchscreen or the user panel. There's going to be 4 number 1 Phillips screws, 1 in each corner. When the screws are out, you can lift the panel off. Depending on which model you have, you may have 2 wires go down and power these lights on the bottom. Those are just male and female spade connectors. It can be pulled apart. And then no matter what model you have, you're going to have just a harness that comes to the back and plugs in. So you can set that aside. And the next thing you're going to want to do is remove the whole top plastic. So you're not going to remove the lid. You don't have to worry about taking and drilling through your hinge or rivets. You're going to need a long number 2 square bit because you have 2 screws in the front and 1 in the back. The one in the back is recessed pretty far up in. Once the 3 screws are out, you can take the whole top piece off, and if you push down on this bottom plastic, that'll reveal your motor. Your motor plug is down here underneath. It's just a 2-pin plug that you could pull up through the bottom if you are doing a motor replacement. You're going to have 2 half-inch bolts, or half-inch socket bolts, 1 on each side. Once those are removed, alright. Motor can come out, you can fish your harness plug up through. Once the motor is off, that's going to reveal the top portion of the outer jack tube. That's where you're going to find your coupler that couples the inner drive screw to the motor. That just sets down inside of here. If the coupler only needs replaced, you can lift this off here and put your new coupler in. If you order a coupler kit from BAL RV products, it's going to come with the coupler, this shear pin in here, and this washer. Just be advised, if you take the shear pin out, the front of the camper does need supported. This is the only thing holding this thing from dropping right now. To get the pin out, which I do have the front of the camper supported, that's why it's loose, but you can come in from the side with a screwdriver and tap it out here. With the new coupler installed and or new motor, go ahead and put everything back together. Once the screws are installed, fish your harness back down through, and reinstall your top plastic. You want to go ahead and put your screws back in up from the bottom. With the screws back installed, you can fish your light wires and your touchscreen harness back up through. and reinstall your 4 screws. So in that video we talked mainly about replacing the touchscreen, the motor, or the coupler in the tongue jack. I'll go over a few reasons why you would replace or need to replace any of these components. The touchscreen, if you see any cracks, if the screen has black spots, if it's all white or it's losing its sensitivity, unfortunately there is no recalibration of the touchscreen and it will have to be replaced. As for the motor, if you have 12 volts coming to your motor through this plug and your motor is still not working, what I would do is test with power directly into this plug here. These 2 wires go right to the motor. So you can put your 12 volt power probe, a 12 volt battery, anything that's going to put power here. It's a reverse polarity motor. One way will be extend, one way will be retract. You can't hook it up wrong. If you have 12 volts coming from the control box and you put 12 volts in here with a power probe or a 12 volt battery and the motor does not work, then you either have a bad motor or the coupler between the motor and the drive screw is broken and it has it jammed. Usually, if the coupler is broke and it's jammed, you can remove this rubber plug next to the screen, and inside is just a 3/8 square drive override that you can use a ratchet, a extension, just make sure it's a 3/8 drive square. If it turns and the jack operates up and down, mechanically it's good. That means the coupler's good, the motor has to be bad. If the voltage is good, coupler's good, mechanicals are good. If this is jammed up and it will not turn, motor won't turn, it's most likely going to be the coupler, and you can remove and replace that